Hey, what's going on everyone? Hawks21 here, back with another Splinterlands video. So when I asked in one of my Rebellion review videos if people wanted land content, I got a couple responses from some people, and some people reached out on Discord basically saying, I would love a land beginner's guide. And I actually think I'm uniquely positioned to give you sort of a casual perspective of land, because I'm not someone who went all in on land. I'm not someone that's been studying land. I'm not someone who has these grandiose expectations or beliefs in land. I think it's a cool thing to add, but I didn't really get that into it. My community and I, which is here on my alt account, we bought a tract together. So that kind of forced me to learn as we went, and so I now have a decent knowledge. I'm not the smartest person when it comes to land, so if you're here for master land strategies or, just the most efficient way to run your plots or some big predictions about land, this is not the video for you. However, if you're at 0% understanding, 10% understanding, 20% understanding, I'm hoping that this video can get you to 60%, maybe even 70% understanding. I'm just going to show you a casual land player's perspective to land. Land for dummies, I might call it. I didn't want to title the video that, just because I was worried about YouTube nerfing it, but this is basically land for dummies. All right, let's get into it. So right here, you see this land icon. That's where you're going to start. First, I'm going to show you how we set up our tract, because I think that just gives you a good overview of everything. And then I'll show you what I'm doing with my own two personal plots. So when you come into land, you'll see this type of screen. Honestly, I don't love this screen. It's a little difficult to navigate. But if you go to owned, so you can go to for sale, owned, whatever. You can go by region and stuff. So I go to owned. We own the tract in 114. And so if you go to view plots, I can see all of the plots that we own. Okay, so you're going to want to come in here. You're going to want to click one of these, hit go. You're going to see this screen. I've already set this up, but you're going to hit manage, and you're going to fill in cards. You're going to fill in worker cards. First, you need a power core. So generally, this is going to be empty if you've never done it. You click power core here, and you have the option to add a power core. You have to buy them, or you needed to have purchased, I believe it was building in a box. Or you can use a Rooney. So there's a few different options here. So we use building in a box, so we had power cores. If not, you have to buy one or use a Rooney. You put in the power core. Is it not going to let me edit? Okay, so if you click here, you will see all of your cards that are available to be put on land. Now, we strategically had enough cards to fill up our land, so that's why you don't see a lot of cards here. All of our plots are being worked. You would see its production value. You would see any adjustments it gets. So different types of land give you different types of adjustments higher based on the splinter of the card. So I don't know what type of land that was. What is this? This is Great Lowlands Canyon. So Canyon, for example, this is a natural canyon. I believe it was fire. Oh, here it is, right here, synergy. So fire, death, and dragon get plus 5% boost. And an element penalty, life, earth, water, get a minus 10% boost. This is different for the different types of land. The rarity of land also provides a boost to the production. So 10% production here. If we go back, I'm just going to click on a different plot that's not one of these. Can I get a lake? I don't want to do a magic one yet. Let's do a epic desert. Here we go. So you can see. We scroll down here. Dragon and fire get 10%, 50% nerf to life and water, and then it's an epic rarity, so plus 40% production boost. Now, we had time crystals, so we were able to speed up. You'll see we built work sites, grain farm, research hut, shard mine. Those are the 3 things you can build now. Eventually, we'll be able to build more things, but for now, those are it. We'll get to those in a second. If you don't have time crystals, you need to actually build them. So we ran out of time crystals. We didn't have enough time crystals. So this is what you see here. Right now, the workers' production is not being used farming grain like it was in the last plot. It's being used to actually build the grain farm. So first you have to build the grain farm. You can see it takes a long time. Time crystals are very, very, very valuable. I have not done the math if they're worth buying or not. We're not going to buy them just because we have so much running right now. I can speed it up using time crystals, but again, we're not going to do that. There's 3 different types of land. There's natural, which gives no bonuses to anything. There is magic, which gives bonuses to research, 100% bonus if you're doing research. And then there's occupied, which gives 100% bonus to your shard mines, which is basically you mining for SPS. So those are the 3 things. And so what we did is basically, if it was magic, we set it up to go after research. If it was occupied, we set it up to go after shards, SPS shards. And everything else is going after grain. Everything else. So why is grain important? Your workers, as they work the land, require grain. So basically they need to eat. We're going to go up to this production screen now because you can see the harvests. You can see I last harvested a day ago. So in about a day, this is what my yields are, this is what my our plots are producing. So we can come in here and you can look at specific plots. So you can sort by rarity, right? Like we have a mythic we have a keep, which I will talk about in a little bit. We have a legendary that does grain for us. You can see its capacity. So they all have 7 days worth of capacity before you need to harvest them. And then you can see we have some work sites that are still under construction. Like I showed you, talked about. Our workers are still trying to build the grain huts. So you can see the grain required. So our workers are working and we need to feed them. So if we come into harvest all, that brings you to this screen. And you can see right now we can claim almost 150,000 in grain. And then it's going to cost us 60K in grain to claim that. So basically the workers that produce this need this. And so it'll net out. So I can come here and click claim. And you can claim this, as far as I know, as much as you want, as long as you have the grain. Like there's no, like this should go up about 80. So we should be about over 150, maybe a little higher if I did the math. So 163. We had to pay 60K, and then 16 was paid in taxes. We'll talk about taxes in a second. So yeah, we got up over 160. So go back in, we're gonna harvest our research. I'm not harvesting SPS yet. This is sort of a bird gang specific thing, but we're trying to figure out exactly how we wanna split this up and do stuff with it. So I'm just not harvesting it yet. But I am gonna claim our research. Now research is, you're getting research points basically towards uncovering the secret of Praetoria. We basically know nothing about that, but it's just very efficient for our magic land pieces to go after research. The other thing is, randomly, it's a very low chance that you'll get this. You could harvest and get totem fragments. So I didn't talk about totems. Totems and titles, so you've seen people when you battle them, they'll have a title, right? The Burninator or the Watcher, that have been earned throughout Splinterlands for doing specific things. If you stake those to the land, if we go back to that screen, they also give you a boost. So let's view my plots real quick. I think the legendary one doing grain has that. Yeah, so we have a title, the Watcher title, and we have a totem. So that's a 10% boost, 10% boost. And you can see, right, we have really high workers that are working here. What else? Oh yeah, let's talk about keeps. Now, again, if this is the beginner level, you know, probably don't have a keep. I only have a keep because we collectively have a keep. But basically, when stuff gets claimed in our tract, we get a cut of it because of this keep. So it's a little weird in this case because we own every single plot in the tract. So we're basically paying taxes to ourselves, but we just get a little boost here, basically. We like recollect some of our taxes, which is nice. So out of the taxes, basically 55% of it right now is getting burned, and we collect the other 45% of it. And we can harvest it. Also, that's not exactly true because there's also kingdoms, I believe they're called, and they get some as well. And kingdoms are over entire regions. Again, I'm not going to get fully into that because that's more advanced. I'm just going to show you this. If you do have a keep, it's a flat cost to harvest, 1,000. So I would suggest letting it fill up, right? Let your keep fill up. You don't want to claim this a lot. You know, obviously if we start needing this specifically for stuff, that's a different story. Let's see, is there anything else that I'm missing? So let's talk about our current plan, basically. I told you, generally, research hut for magic, grain for everything else, and shard mining for occupied. So we're stacking a lot of grain for a couple reasons. One, eventually, like, grain is what you need to feed your workers. And apparently you're going to be able to refine it to create better types of food and stuff like that. But grain seems like the core. Now, I'm not going to speculate, but there's going to be a lot of other resources that are available to be mined. It was actually put out today, all of the lists. I believe it's 40 something. Go into the Splinterlands Discord or go on Twitter. You'll be able to find it. There might have been 40 to 50 different resources that can be mined. So we want to stack our grain for two reasons. One, so we have it, right? So if we have to readjust to look at different resources, or, you know, if it becomes efficient for us to mine a certain type of thing based on our land, we want to have a stockpile of grain so we don't have to constantly be buying it. So one, we want to stockpile it now before a bunch of resources pop up. And two, eventually there's going to be a liquidity pool for grain in DEC. And basically, we want to have a lot of grain in DEC to put into that pool to generate a return. We want to do that early on when the returns are generally higher in liquidity pools and just be able to benefit from that. So a lot of people are trying to break even on their grain, and that's sort of not our take. We're trying to be as efficient as possible, where magic research is research, everything, all the naturals research grain, and then all the occupied do SPS. So every piece of land is doing what it's best at. We're going for efficiency. There is a guides thing here, so you can click on guides and they have some videos and stuff as well. But this was, to be honest, the other thing to mention, you have to stake DEC. So you can see we have almost 5 million DEC staked for our tract. Now, I'll give you a better example of what most people might be dealing with by going to my main account. And you can see like what I personally had planned was I have 2 plots. Part of that, I would have had more if I didn't collectively have a tract. So like obviously some of my money is put into that tract, but I would have used that to buy more pieces of land to have a slightly better situation than I do now on my personal thing, but I have a stake in that, so I'm not too worried about it. So when I come here to production, you will see what I'm doing. You can see, so for my 2 plots, it's 65k DEC that I need staked. You can get this back, but you have to stake it in order to be like fully functioning. And to stake it, you just click here. So see, I can unstake it. And it tells you, I don't know if you saw that, once you set up your land, it'll tell you exactly how much you need. So it basically tells you how much you need in order to be fully working your land. If not, you'll take some penalties. So again, for me, I have 2 pieces of land. I have a rare and a common that are both working on grain. Yeah, let's harvest it. So I basically double up my grain effectively. I could be mining something else and be close to a break even, but my grain cost would almost outweigh what I was producing. So if you're someone who has a smallish amount of plots, I personally think it's advantageous for you to just stack grain. Now there's person-to-person buying and selling of grain if you want to do it in the Discord. I'm personally not engaging in that. I can play middleman if you're looking to do that. But for me, I want to stack this for now. And, you know, myself probably try to take advantage of the liquidity pool when it first comes out. So yeah, that was kind of just a land overview for dummies. Again, I didn't get into big strategy or stuff like that. Just kind of how I'm interacting with it. I come in every day, check everything, harvest, you know, about once a day. I still haven't gotten a totem fragment, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. It seems very unlikely and very infrequent that those do pop up. But yeah, I mean, I hope this was helpful. If you watched this far, I hope you got something out of it, got a little more familiar and comfortable clicking around the screens. I'm very happy to answer any questions you might have. Again, I am by no means the expert, but I do know people that are really into land. So if you do have a really good question, I can probably get that answered for you. So do not hesitate to ask questions in the comments. I will try to get to those as efficiently as I can. That'll be it. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're enjoying land. Rebellion, I don't know when this video is going to come out. Rebellion might be here, or it might be a day away, probably. Very excited for that. Tons of more content coming from me. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you around the game. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Talk to you guys soon.